So I want to go into a very, very brutal video today that talks about status dynamics, talks about hierarchies, and basically shows you not how to make a genuine friendship. I assume that you have genuine friendships, and genuine friendships are so important. But what I want to show you in this video is how to understand status hierarchies and how to network with and attract higher value people that, let's be honest, they're not your genuine friend. They're not going to be your genuine friend. They're on their hustle. They're on their grind. But what I want to show you is how to establish a win-win with people that are richer than you, people who might be more physically attractive than you, people who have more connections than you, people who might have some kind of esoteric knowledge that you want. And because they are busy, because they're on their hustle, because they're on their grind, and because they probably are not looking to make some genuine friend randomly at a coffee shop, what I want to show you in this video is how to just walk up to them and talk to them and very, very rapidly build rapport and have and establish a win-win to where they're like, wait a minute, you're really cool. You actually want to add something to my life, not just take from it like everybody else under the guise of being my genuine friend, right? Like under the lie of being my genuine friend. Now, also, and this is what I think is going to make this video very interesting, what I'd also like to do is show you how to allow people that are lower in the hierarchy than you to become friends with you. Okay, so the first thing I want to break into as we go deep down the rabbit hole here is that you have direct control over your status. So you want to understand, first of all, how to control your status, but then second of all, how to also network with people of higher status, because that can speed up your ascension. How do you have direct control over your status? Look, like I said in the video that I just shot in Austin, the single most important factor in raising your status is having a value for your time. Okay, so there's a difference, a key difference between people who value their time and people who don't. Now, value your time does not being a delusional asshole who just says, my time is valuable. I bring value everywhere I go. Okay, fuck off, okay? Fuck off with that shit. I've had a million fucking morons come up to me and say, I just have inherent value. Bro, I'm a man. I don't care about your fucking inherent value. I don't know you. I have 100 or even 1,000 people in a given day trying to get my time. And 90% of them watch a fucking Instagram reel that said, I have self-love, okay? I have children, okay? I have kids. Do you want to steal time away from my kids so that you can go on your narcissistic self-help journey of expression? That is fucking bullshit. Fuck off. Okay, so as we go down the rabbit hole, the first two things that I want to explain are, first of all, that you have direct control over your status. But second of all, there's a reason that people of higher status don't want to connect with you. Now, here, let me explain. So I just wanted to jump in the video to let you know that I'm actually out here today on the beach, practicing what I preach, doing all the things that I tell you to do in these videos. I don't just do seminar videos where I tell you that you should work on your social skills. I go out and I meet and talk to people all the time. Now, as I'm out here doing this, here's what's funny. I've got students that are out here with me watching exactly what it is that I do, and they're kind of blown away by it. But then what I'm doing that I think is blowing them away even more is I'm showing them exactly how to do it so they can get the exact same result. Now imagine for everybody that's out here, for the rest of their lives, if they want to make a business connection, they want to network, they want to make friends, they want to work on making a genuine connection with someone very, very special, they know exactly what to do forever and ever because we came out here and did this work. Well, here's the thing. This work is not for everybody. You've got to be a very, very special kind of person to have what it takes to come out here and do this. You've got to be an action taker. You've got to be somebody who understands the value of knowing how to meet people anytime, anywhere, and realizing that your net worth is your network, okay? When you know everybody, what winds up happening? You make more cash, you're happier, and you wind up raising the vibe for everybody. It's an incredible skill. Well, what I've done is a lot of people have asked me about these trainings, and so I created a brand new website. It's actually brand new, with a very, very deep video that's really shocking. It's a shocking video. It's kind of an intense video where I go very, very deep on what it is that this looks like. Like, imagine meeting up with me personally and going out and doing this. It's a shocking, crazy experience. And on the website, in the video, I show exactly what it is that you can expect. It's really crazy. So if you want to see this, click the link below. And if you think that you're somebody that has what it takes, because this is not for everybody, and you've got to actually add value to the group, okay? In a situation like this, you can't be a leech. You've got to be someone who's bringing energy and is serious about results. If you think that that's you, fill out the form right on the website, and what I'll do is come and meet up with you in person, and we're going to learn this together. But again, that's only if you're the right fit. If you think that that's you, you click the link below, and we'll be sitting out here together doing this and change your life. Anyway, click the link, and back to the video. First of all, what is the direct control that you have over your status? Well, simply this. It is your status is directly proportional to how much you value your time. If you value your time, you care about your legacy, you care about adding value to the world, you care about enjoying life, you care about expanding, you care about having new and different experiences, you care about actually enjoying the life that God gave you and seeing the world that God created. You're someone who values your time. As a result of that, you're gonna have way more cash, you're gonna have way more connections, you're probably gonna have access to networks of people that are very, very attractive to date and get in relationships with, you're gonna have access to all this esoteric knowledge. Why? Because you value your time. You didn't sit there just looking at TikTok, looking at social media, you didn't take drugs, you didn't drink, you didn't gossip, you didn't bullshit, you didn't waste your motherfucking time. You actually value your time, and as a result of that, you are somebody who is worth knowing. Absolutely. Now, on the other hand, you might be somebody who has no discipline, has no focus, has not sacrificed anything. And as a result of that, it isn't fair when you have sacrificed nothing or you have not sacrificed enough and you have been passive in your experience to walk up to somebody who has been active in their experience, or let's say it's even somebody who's very, very physically attractive. Well, then probably that person's grandparents did something, right? And they're the kind of the genetic repository of it. But it's not fair for you to just walk up to them and be like, I love myself. So because I love myself, I demand your time. And here's why I say this. I love to make a genuine friendship. I love that. But let me ask you this. I've got 3 sons as of now. I hope to have more kids in the future. Vincent, Dylan, and Tristan. Are you telling me that I should not go see my sons? I should leave my sons without their father because you love yourself? And I should just sit there holding your dick, okay? I should say, hey, Vincent, Dylan, and Tristan, I went and held a man's dick today. I went in for a coffee with a random man. Daddy just loves coffee with random men. So sorry that I couldn't spend time with you. Is that fair? Now, I've got a guy shooting this video. Should he get paid less because I want to go for coffee with random men, right? Should my staff get paid less? Should my clients get less of my time? Like, say that you take a training with me. Should you get less of my time and energy because I like to just have genuine male friendships, and so you should get less of my time? Is that fair? I don't think that's fair. And here's why this has occurred. I'm a 45-year-old man. 45-year-old men have built their own personal little empire, and they probably have a couple of friends from childhood or a couple of genuine friends. There's no more space for that. And so as a result of that, they don't have time to sit there holding your fucking dick, crying over God knows what. Instead, the way that you make a friendship with a high-level man or woman, somebody who has been focused and built themselves up, is that you add value to them, okay? You bring something to the picnic other than your motherfucking appetite. And you do so out of respect, okay? It's a basic level of respect. And what that respect basically says is, I understand that you have been more focused, more driven, and you haven't been as passive as me, or maybe I'm also very focused and driven, but you're just older than me. So if you're gonna bring something to me, please let me bring something to you. And there's a right way to do this and a wrong way to do this. And here's the best part. If you somehow finagle or trick somebody who's operating at a high level to be friends with you and just hang out with you, they're gonna fucking hate you after, okay? They're gonna be fucking pissed. They're gonna have buyer's remorse. And here's why I say this. I was at a seminar just in Austin the other night, and I met like the coolest dude, like honestly, like one of the coolest dudes I've ever met in my whole fucking life. Really, really cool guy. And he's a rich guy, and he said, Owen, I'm thinking of taking a training. And I said, okay, let's chat. So I'm assuming that this guy's loaded, and I'm assuming that this guy's gonna take trainings, so I thought he's gonna be a high-end client. So normally what I would do is, you know, I've got hundreds of clients there, and I've flown in a sales team for the express purpose of talking to everybody there and helping them with their issues. But if somebody's loaded, and I think that they're gonna become a top-tier high-end client, well then yes, I'll give them access to me directly. So I give them a lot of access to me, and we wind up chatting for about 2 hours. Now, at the end of the 2 hours, we had a great conversation. I love the guy. He says, you know what I realized, man? You know what I realized? I don't wanna take your course. I wanna be friends with you. In fact, I don't just want to be friends with you. I want to be friends with Tai Lopez. I want to be friends with you and Tai Lopez, and we're all just going to hang out. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, bro, and I didn't say this just in my head. I'm like, bro, it's 5 in the morning right now. I'm supposed to go to, so San Antonio is an hour and a half away from Austin, Texas. I was supposed to be in San Antonio, Texas with my kids in the morning going on the Riverwalk and going to see the Alamo. And then at nighttime, I was supposed to be shooting a video, and I was planning to shoot that video actually in Zilker Park in golden hour, overlooking the background the same way that I did here. Okay, see how we kind of started the video here? We got golden hour, right? Little clouds coming in now. Let me ask you something. How many years ago do you think that I made the plan to be in San Antonio on a certain day with my children? How much planning around my kids' school did that take? How much planning did it take to know that then I'm going to come back on a schedule and then shoot that video in Austin, Texas in Zilker Park? That plan was 2 years fucking old. I can pull out my fucking laptop and show you that I'm planned out 2 years in advance. So I had to miss San Antonio with my fucking kid, and I had to miss my video shoot for maybe 100,000 people that might see that over the life cycle of a video over many years, so that this guy could say, I just want to be your friend, with me thinking that he might be a rich guy that will add to what I'm doing. Well, guess what is the fastest way to never be my friend again? And this guy was very cool. I like this guy a lot. We had a great conversation. But it wasn't miss the Riverwalk and the Alamo with my kids level grade conversation. It wasn't not get the golden hour video conversation. But guess what? That's what every day of my life looks like. Whether it is a leisure day or a work day, every day of my life is planned several years out. You think that I did over $100 million in sales on accident? I just went, oh, I manifested it with the fucking lie of manifestation? Is that how you think it happened? No, it happened by actually planning. I don't want to sit there with even the coolest guy in the world for 2 hours unless that guy is potentially a very lucrative client. Now, why is that? Will I spend the money? No. I would have used that money to do nicer things for my children, to create more great videos for my clients, and to give raises to my staff, to do more free events. And here's the thing that you have to understand about a high-value person. High-value people are not just selfish. They have people under them, or that they care for. It's not even under them, but that they care for, who they are responsible for. That is what they care about, not being your genuine fucking friend. They care about their children. They care about their staff. They care about their fans. They care about their legacy. They care about what they're trying to build, and that is why they built that. They've got plenty of genuine friends. But here's the thing. There are many people that I do have genuine friendships with. And here's how they became friends with me. Here would be an example. A lot of time, I'll teach multiple trainings to somebody, and they get to be very, very good. They get really, really fucking good when they take a training. And then if they've done a training and they get really, really good, and they kind of cap out as far as what I can teach them on a training, I say, why don't you come and volunteer at other trainings, and you can actually share your knowledge, and we can all do that together. Well, as a result of that, what winds up happening? We wind up traveling together. We wind up vacationing together on events. And yes, we wind up hanging out a little bit here or there, going to restaurants, going hiking. We become actually friends. So do you remember in this video what I said is that you've got to have a method for people that are, quote, lower value than you to engage with you. So as a result of this, I have a volunteer army that just want to come hang out on program because it's fun for them. These are guys that are very successful, very skilled, very good, and they add a ton of value. And they're just there voluntarily to hang out with me, but they're adding value to my life. Now, what's going to wind up happening? Well, look. At some point, we're grabbing dinner, and they might ask me a question that could change their life. And I probably have some kind of pinpoint knowledge over many, many years. And because they have come there to help me, we will create a genuine friendship. And I'm not going to leave there. And by the way, I've scheduled the time for that. It's not fucking impromptu. We've scheduled the time for that. And as a result, I'm not going to walk away bitter to advice where if you trick me into hanging out with you for a couple hours, not only am I never going to hang out with you again, I'm going to tell my friends, avoid that motherfucker. Because basically that guy's like a swagged out player that wants to pump and dump, right? It's like a swagged out pump and dump player, but for men, who's gonna sit there seeming cool, but ultimately just wants to be friends, but they want to tap into what you're bringing. And look, they've got stuff too. That guy definitely had stuff too. He's one of the coolest guys I've ever met in my life, but I don't care because I have friends from when I'm 13 years old that I gotta call back, that I don't have time to call back. I'm not looking for new friends. But again, I wind up making new friends when people add to my life. So right off the bat, understand that if you want to make friends with higher value people, they are people who have frameworks typically that allow you to get in with them. And I'm going to talk about that at our next shooting location. We'll probably go to the water wall. But at the same time, you, as someone where you built something, should also have methods for people to connect with you. What happened there, where the fuck up occurred, was immediately what I should have said was, hey, listen up. I'm down to chat. See, I just assumed because he's rich, it was just a done deal, and it would be weird to have to say it. But you know what I've learned? No. Just cut to the fucking chase. Cut to the fucking chase. Hey, bro, if you want to chat, here's how it works, okay? Then he could come, maybe do some trading, and then if he gets really good, he wants to come help and actually add something, then at that point we could talk. But in the meantime, I've got thousands of clients who would really, really appreciate some one-on-one attention, who actually paid. Who paid. If you took my training, why the fuck am I giving attention to some random fucking guy if you actually paid? If you're my child, why the fuck is your father not giving you attention and giving it to random men? Let's have coffee with random men. I'm not making friends with fucking random men. Do you understand? Okay? If I do a party, I don't give a shit that you want to come to my party and not bring girls. If you want to come to a party that I'm doing, throw down a bit of cash, bring some girls, add some value. No drama ever. You give me one shred of drama, get the fuck out. You even look negative in the slightest, get the fuck out. Okay? If there's any kind of weird issues around you, get the fuck out. At a higher level, everyone's happy, everyone's laughing, having fun, everyone's chill, everyone's cool, everyone brings girls, everyone throws down a bit, because you gotta bring something to the picnic more than your motherfucking appetite. Okay? And when I go to people's houses where they're running shit, like, if I go to, say, the Guggenheim party, and if you know what the Guggenheim Museum is, it's worth $1 gazillion fucking dollars, worth like half the GDP of the country. I don't walk in the fucking Guggenheim Mansion party and go, I'm tired, I'm in a bad mood, I'm not bringing girls. No, I show up with at least 3 stunners. I bring good energy. If they want me to chip in, I'm happy to chip in. Then I go there, I network, and then I wind up meeting people that can change my life, and then I can bring that to the people that are under me. And like I said, genuine friendship is a valuable thing. I've got genuine friends from many years of my life. I've also got genuine friends that I connected with through the systems that I built, and we became friends over time. But those are the people deserving of my time. So the first lesson, like I said, is build systems to where people that are underneath you, they can help you. I'll talk more about that next shooting location. But also realize that if you actually want to benefit from somebody else, you've got to bring something to picnic more than your motherfucking appetite. Now, by the way, personality and using your personality and charisma is a great way to bring value, but at the same time, you also want to be strategic in how you do so. So we're gonna go very, very deep into that. Let's go. Next shooting location, Houston, motherfucking Texas. And we're gonna talk about how to bring something to that fucking picnic so that it's win-win and everybody around you is fucking loving you. You wind up making genuine friends through the process. You can also use these systems to meet people that are very, very attractive, to build your life, to build your empire. Look, this is basic level understandings that anyone at a high level has, but it's always people at the lowest level that say, well, what about just being friends, man? But then, of course, they don't want to just be friends with someone lower than them. They conveniently want to be friends with somebody at a higher value than them, just by convenience, right? Just, oh, I believe in genuine friendship, but only the people higher value than me, right? So they're not even going by their own credo. So I want to show you how to understand this and how to change your fucking life. Let's go. Okay, so we just moved over to the water wall here in Houston, and the next thing that I want to emphasize is the guy who caused me to miss my San Antonio trip with my kids, miss the Alamo, miss shooting my video in Golden Hour, that was not his fault. That was on me. That was on me that I allowed that to happen. Now, here's why. Look, if you're talking to somebody, and maybe you kind of joked around a little bit that you could become boyfriend and girlfriend, then you guys wind up hooking up. They don't have the right after that to then come to you and say, are we getting married? Does this mean that we're married now? Does this mean that we're boyfriend and girlfriend? Right? They understand that, maybe it was alluded to, but unless it's set in stone, they should not be hooking up with you if they think that automatically means that you are going to get married. Okay, so in a way, I was guilty of that. So on my end, I need to have better boundaries and not allow myself to get into conversations like that unless it is very, very clear. Look, I'm down to talk to you, but this is where it's leading to. We could talk, but this is where it's leading to, if that's where I'm at. Especially because, look, the one that's gonna trick you the most is that cool conversation, is that cool person, is that thing that's actually pretty fucking good. But the enemy of the best is the good. Look, as cool as it is to meet a random person, make a random friend, it's even cooler to go with your children to the Alamo. It's even cooler to get a video to eventually be watched by 100,000 people. You see where I'm going with this? So the enemy of the best is the good. You've got to have boundaries around things like, doom scrolling on your phone and so on and so forth, because having boundaries around that is going to allow you to do the things that really matter in your life. And look, I can tell you at 45, my single greatest regret that I have is all these random conversations that I had with people that were ultimately going nowhere. When you're a younger person, a random conversation is useful, or maybe going on a date that doesn't lead to anything is useful because you're not used to relating to people yet. So there's value in just relating to people. There's value in that. Likewise, look, say that you're not used to being around beautiful women and you take a girl on a date, it doesn't go anywhere, but you're not acclimated to being around beautiful women. The mere fact that you got to get acclimated to it, that's a win for you, even if nothing came of it. The fact that she's even giving you social proof, and maybe we'll go in photos or videos with you that you can post on social media, or the fact that she makes you look cool to the surrounding people there, that is actually of value if you're not acclimated to being around beautiful women, right? So if you're not acclimated, to just having, conversation with cool guys, like that's something new to you because maybe you're a little bit younger, the mere acclimation to it and social experience, that has value. But by the time that you're my age, or even in your early 30s, if you're used to that, it has to be building towards something. Otherwise, it's not a valuable use of your time. Again, not because your whole life has to be structured around business, but rather because you want to have that beautiful hike in Alaska with your friends and family. You want to go to Montana to Glacier National Park. You want to be in the Amalfi Coast in Italy. You want to be in Santorini, Greece. You want to go see the Egyptian pyramids. You want to have fun, but not just sitting there randomly talking to somebody who you don't know. You want to master that when you're young so you can get used to relating to people, and then as you're older, now you've got your empire. You built your empire, and people are fighting and clamoring to be around you, and you wind up making friends among the people that are helping you to build the things that you care about, your legacy, your empire, and the people who it is that you're trying to help. Now, from there, let me make another point. Here's another powerful, subtle point. Notice the fact that I'm sitting here fuming and pissed at myself several days later that I burned barely even 2 hours having what was ultimately a very cool conversation with a very cool guy. I'm mad at myself for that. Now, if I'm mad at myself for losing 2 hours, what does that say about you? That you probably watched 5 hours of the internet today. So I would recommend to you to get some kind of app on your phone or on your computer that shows you how much time that you're wasting. And again, not because like the cool guy who's like a really cool guy, the enemy of the best is the good. The internet is good. There's a lot of really cool stuff on the internet. But you should be watching only the most high-value content, classic content from legendary teachers, or, if it's comedy, then the best comedians. If it's drama, then the best drama. If it's a video game, then only the best video game. Get rid of all the crap. Get rid of all the 7 out of 10s and focus on those amazing experiences. So even if you're just going to go fuck off and dick around the best way. Go meet that incredible girl that you invite over if you're a girl, that incredible guy or same-sex couple, whatever it is, and invite them over and have the best experience together. But don't just sit there doom scrolling. You see where I'm going with this? So realize that if I'm that mad that I lost a couple hours, which was ultimately also because I missed time with my family that I planned 2 years out, that should tell you, look at how much of your time you're burning. But also, again, if I were to pull out my life and show you, you might say to yourself, hey, Owen, how do you have time to travel to all these cities, run an 8-figure business, not get sick in over 13 years as I'm recording this, will be more in the future, manage all these different relationships. Well, how do I do that? I plan out my life several years in advance. And that includes time to have a day off, time to go to a movie, time to go to a spa. But even that relaxation is going to be what's called proactive recovery. So I am all over this. So the point that I'm trying to make, look, the enemy, the best, the good, and ultimately you have to have what in sales is known as an attunement to prospect versus suspects, okay? Say that with me. Prospects versus suspects. In other words, let's say that you're doing cold sales calls, which is a great job to have when you're younger. Great job to have. Teach you all about sales. You're doing sales calls. You're making money from commission only, right? If you're doing sales calls, the first thing they teach you with sales calls is prospects versus suspects. Who are the people that are just going to sit there burning down your time on the phone, knowing that you're just working for commission? And the problem with people who do this, look, here's kind of the thing with people that have this kind of personality type. And by the way, I think it'll be kind of cool. I'm going to take off our little light here. So watch this. It's going to be a bit of a different lighting, and we're going to see a little bit more of the light in the back. I think it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat. I like that. Okay, so anyway, little water wall back there. So prospect versus suspects. Look, somebody who sits on the phone with you for many, many hours, knowing that you're a commission-only salesperson, and you're being friendly, and you are friendly. They're like, well, hey, we're having a genuine conversation. Well, here's the funny thing. Look, if I was doing phone sales, I am having a genuine conversation. It's genuine. I really do want to help. I am there to give my time and energy, and I enjoy giving it. But I'm enjoying giving it within a context that I believe that it's leading somewhere, right? Like, if you take a girl on a date and you spend, $1,500, right? In the future, the money will be all different. But that's a high price, okay, at this time for a date. You're down to do that, assuming that end of the night, something fun is going to happen. But if at the end of the night they go, that was just great. Wow, I needed that. Like, I really needed that. This was just great for me. Come here. Mwah. You're a great person. Thank you so much. I really needed this R&R. This was so great for me. Well, that means that you're dealing with someone who is really just not aware of how other people feel, right? They're willing to consume resources. And what you've got to realize as far as prospects versus suspects, this kind of personality type is more common than ever. And here's what I honestly think caused it. I'll be real with you. I have seen more and more of this ever since the movie The Secret, where people believe in what's called the law of attraction. And the whole secret and law of attraction is kind of a funny philosophy because there's actually a lot of power and truth, like deep fundamental truth in the idea of the law of attraction. So you kind of have to see the gray area to where there's a lot of it that's very, very true. But what the law of attraction has also done is allowed people to become very narcissistic, very self-centered, very delusional, and very lazy. So you'll have people who believe like they don't even have to work and they'll just get a bunch of money. But of course, they want the person who works super hard to provide them the money. So for example, as a seminar speaker, I can't tell you how many other much less hardworking seminar speakers I've met that are like, I just realized I met you and I manifested you and I'm gonna speak on your stage. And it's like, okay, so the deal is I toil and work for my whole life to build an audience and then you come talk on it and you manifest it. That's not called manifestation, bro. That's just called you're fucking lazy. That's called you gotta bring something more to the picnic than your appetite. They're just delusional, okay? All that people that'll come up to me in the street and try to get a ton of my time and attention, and they'll say that they manifested me. It's like, look, you wanna manifest me, take the fucking program, bro. And here's why I even say that, because look, here's what you'll realize at the end of the day. I know that when I say take the fucking program, bro, you're thinking like, man, this guy's like obsessed with the program. No, it's not that. What I'm obsessed with is not having the equivalent of an aborted fetus of an interaction. This thing that began to develop and just died on the vine. What do I mean by that? Meeting me on the street will do nothing for you. If you spend an afternoon with me going shopping at the mall, it will do nothing for you. It wastes your time and it wastes my time because I'm not training you, I'm just shopping. If I grab a photo with you, I'm just grabbing a photo with you. It's not doing anything. It's burning down my time and ability to build what I'm trying to build for my friends, family, and videos like this that I build for you. So I'm making less videos like this for you because I'm burning down my time at the mall with a random man. But in addition, it wastes your time because you're not getting anything out of it. All that you're doing is getting some bullshit story of, I hung out with Owen. Who cares, bro? Who cares, bro? Watch the video. It doesn't do anything for either of us. And here's what you got to understand. Fundamentally, there's two different types of people. There's people that value their time and people who don't. In the world, the kind of sub-universe of people who don't value their time, getting a photo has meaning. But in the world of people who value their time, getting a photo is only worthwhile if it's really a viable memory that they contributed to. You see where I'm going with this? Okay. So if you're in the world of just like diversion and like just this kind of like diversion-based world, like that's your life, is you just want diversions because you're not building anything, well then yeah, hanging out with someone that you saw on the internet's a big deal. It's a dream come true. You hung out with the person from the internet. But if you're someone who values your time, then if anything, you'd want to go to that person and say, look, I value my time. I don't need to go shopping with you, bro. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pay you, and then you're going to brain dump me, and then you're going to put me through the fucking meat grinder and get me the fucking result. Like, if I'm going to hang out with, I don't know, let's say Kobe Bryant back in the day, do I want to grab lunch with Kobe and just look at his sandwich and go, what's up, Kobe? How's the wife, Kobe? Or would I rather actually get to learn from what it is that he's doing and take that in, and then I can do what he does and I can pay that forward? Look, it's not black and white. I mean, there's a place to say, okay, I grabbed dinner with Kobe. There's a place for that. It could be fun. It is a life experience. Life is about experiences, but not at the expense of taking him away from his daughter. When I was in South Africa, I had the chance to meet Nelson Mandela when I was younger, okay? I met F.W. de Klerk, who was the president of South Africa that released Nelson Mandela, it's my understanding. I met Aman Kathrada at a dinner, and the purpose of that dinner was to raise money for South Africa. There was a dinner that was being done within a context that they're looking to raise money for South Africa. I paid good money for that dinner. I sat at the table with F.W. de Klerk. But I had the chance to meet Nelson Mandela, and I know that Nelson Mandela, yes, he's coming to meet up and do photos, but he's 90 years old. He's got limited time left with his family, and he's doing dinners because he's looking to get donations for South Africa before he dies. And he's looking for big donations, probably $1 million and up. At that time of my life, I was not looking to donate $1 million plus to South Africa to get a photo of Nelson Mandela. So even though I read Long Walk to Freedom, even though Nelson Mandela is such a hero of mine that I wanted to go to South Africa to see his entire story. I went to his home. I want to see everything about his whole story. I'm obsessed with the story of Nelson Mandela, MLK as well, Martin Luther King as well. I declined to go meet Nelson Mandela because I'm somebody who respects other people's time. You got to bring something more to the party than your appetite, and here's the main point of the whole damn thing. I declined to meet him. I know you're like, you declined to meet Nelson Mandela? What are you, low self-esteem? I declined to meet Nelson Mandela because I have respect and love for him. And if I know that his purpose in being there is to build money for his legacy and what he cared about, then me going and getting that photo would reduce a little piece of my self-esteem. It would reduce a piece of my self-esteem. I wouldn't be the same person. Yes, I'd have the photo, but I wouldn't be the same person. So I declined to meet up with Nelson Mandela. And that would have been a great photo, and I could have probably just casually posted that photo and been like, oh, just me and Nelson hanging out. They'd be like, damn, did you coach him? That's fucking sick. No, you know who actually coached Nelson, by the way? The guy from Spiral Dynamics. Okay, go look up Spiral Dynamics. He actually almost bankrupted himself, and I learned from him directly later, and I took his course, and I paid a lot of money for his course with only my company, a private one for my company, for Spiral Dynamics. Took my whole company there. That guy almost bankrupted himself to go help Nelson Mandela, okay? So you see what I'm getting at here is people who believe that they're manifesting, they think they're manifesting you, but they don't realize they're just taking advantage. So you've got to understand prospect versus suspects. And if you get a sense that somebody's very delusional and self-involved and they're leading you down a path to where they're not playing with you fairly, then you've got to realize quickly that's on you. And you know what happened? You didn't create systems where they could actually help you. Okay, so that's what we're gonna go to next. Let's go over to the wall over here. The wall's really cool. And let's talk about how to build those systems. By the way, if you're asking yourself, hey, wait a minute, what about charity? What about helping people? Here's my thing. You want to have clean cuts where it's white or black. In other words, you either want to be growing what you're doing or you want to be doing full-on charity. So in other words, if you build up something massive, you can help way more people. I've done free events in 265 cities, 75 countries around the world. Hundreds of thousands of people face-to-face. Okay, that's my company. I've done them in a ton of cities. How could I possibly have time to do that or the resource to do that if all that I do is all day, I'm just highly unstructured and I just let anybody get in my time? So if you want to help the maximum number of people, you've got to actually value your time. Now, at the same time, look, when I'm out and about in a restaurant or at a bar or club, and that's my time to socialize, I'm going to really be present for people and give them full present energy. And I find that to be very healing. But that's very, very different from just allowing yourself to be bled out as far as your time, okay? By the way, another quick question, I'm going to put this in the next video, might be, well, what if someone doesn't see your value? And that's the point of actually understanding how to relate to them and learning about things like marketing and sales. So we're going to cover that in the next video. But in the meantime, what we'll do right now is conclude what it was that we built up to here. And this next bit is going to blow your mind. Okay, so next up, what I'm going to explain to you is how to turn a dud into a stud. And that whole how to turn a dud into a stud was taught to me by one of my sales mentors, Bill Walsh. And Bill and I were talking, he said, Owen, what should you do if somebody wants to take your program, but they simply can't afford it? And what I said was, I would tell them, go make the money. And once you made the money, you'll have gone through that journey to where you've proven that you value the program, and then you can take it. Bill said, no, that's only one possible answer. There's another possible answer. I said, what's that? He said, Owen, what I want to do right now is teach you how to turn a dud into a stud. How could you, in theory, turn a dud into a stud? And I said, I'm not sure. He said, Owen, what you tell the guys, look, if you can go out and get 10 other students to pay in full for the program, you could take the program. Or, basically what you do is you do the math on what you'd pay a standard affiliate, whatever that affiliate is. Might even just be 1 or 2 students, right? Depends on what your typical rate for an affiliate is. Just tell them to become their own affiliate, and they'll wind up going and getting a bunch of people for you, and then they get to take the program. They'll probably wind up, in many cases, learning how to make more money after they take the program, and then they can take the program at full price from thereafter. So that was one of the first times that I ever realized, wait a minute, you have to have systems in place where if somebody wants to gain value from you, but they're not on your level yet, they can actually help you. Another way that somebody could help you, let's say, for example, it's a beautiful woman, and she doesn't want to date you, but she's going to introduce you to her friends. Or she's going to bring her friends to your party. Or she's going to take cool photos of you, make you look cool. Or, like I said, she's going to help you to just be comfortable around that kind of woman. There are many different ways that a woman could be in your life, other than just sex, where she adds value to your status, right? So it's a little bit limited in thinking to think, oh, like, unless I get sex, or unless I get money, I don't want it. See, my failure with the guy that allowed me to miss the San Antonio thing was that I should have immediately said, hey, look, I'm cool to have this conversation, but here's the deal, right? I was not clear about it, and that was on me. Now, I'm gonna tell you another story. So there was another guy, and this guy was also actually flat broke, and he was a chiropractor. And he said, Owen, I want to take your training. I said, okay, here's what it costs. Said, I can't do it. But he said, I am a chiropractor. And I said, okay, well, do you want to give adjustments? So he actually wound up giving adjustments, and they were really, really good. And so I was able to have him come on the training because he was doing that for me and my team. Now, he wound up getting amazing results. I mean, this guy had been basically involuntarily celibate for years. He's an older guy, and all of a sudden his dating life blew up, social life blew up, he got a big group of friends. But here's a little bit funny about that. Later, he came back to me, he said, Owen, I don't want to adjust anyone anymore. I just want to come on the training. And I said, how's that fair? And he's like, well, I feel like we built a real friendship during this time. As friends, I should just come on the training. And I said to him, brother, I have to have one less person on the training every single time that you're here. Okay, so the trainings at that time are 5K. So that means that if you're on 10 trainings, I've basically spent $50K on a fucking chiropractor. Now, I'm cool to do that because you're doing it for my team, and it's a perk for them, and like, we just love watching you progress, but that's not fair to me. But see, he wasn't able to make that make sense in his mind. And then later what happened was I wound up inviting him to one of my parties, and he started complaining the whole time. He's like, I was talking to this girl, like, this guy stole her attention away. This guy stole the attention away from my girl. Now, here's another thing to notice there. Okay, so what was his failing? Look, I love this guy. I actually really like him a lot. I think he's a really cool guy. His failing was that he was not, like he was a little bit too lightly autistic. And I'm lightly autistic, by the way, naturally. That's why I had to learn all this stuff. That's why I teach this stuff. I'm passionate because I didn't get this stuff. He was a little bit too lightly autistic to think outside of himself. He was more in like that manifestation, narcissistic thing. Like, Owen Cook is gonna be my best friend, and I'm just gonna come on all his trainings because we're best friends, right? Him not realizing that I have other best friends and other people that I'd rather have take that spot. But he never did the math on that, right? It's like people were like, I just wanna go on that yacht party, but they don't wanna bring any girls. But then if every time you let a random guy in a yacht party and they didn't bring girls, if the owner of the yacht allowed that to happen, the yacht would be all full of guys, and you wouldn't even wanna be there. And that's kind of what I wanna say to my chiropractor friend, bro, if I just let random men come on my trainings all the time, they're not even adding anything, then you wouldn't even want to be on the training because there'd be 5,000 people here and the training would fucking suck because you wouldn't get any of my time. So what happened, here's basically what you'll notice. It's the same thing that the guy who took my time and I missed the thing with my kids didn't understand. If I sit here talking to you for 2 hours, that means I'm sitting there talking to everyone for 2 hours. That means that I have no time. That means that I can't build my empire, and that means that it's no longer very cool to be friends with me. I would just be like one of your regular friends who you kind of just like sit there smoking weed with. Look, I still have value insofar that I love myself. I have value in the eyes of God, but if you want to have the kind of value where it's like, yo, like you're friends with somebody who's like really accomplished or special and you want to like provide that value to other people, you need your time back. So in his mind, like what that guy from the seminar thing was thinking, he was like, look at this, like I'm gonna become friends with Owen Cook and Ty Lopez. I'm gonna be their friend. I'm manifesting it. This is so cool. He's not realizing that if guys like myself or Ty Lopez just kind of let that go on, we wouldn't be Owen Cook or Ty Lopez. We wouldn't be those people. We wouldn't be that. So it wouldn't have the same meaning. And then the rationalization is always either about manifestation or it's about this weird connection thing. It's always like, we have a connection. And it's funny, my chiropractor friend, he said, he's like, I feel like we have a connection. It's like, bro, I don't have a connection with random men, bro, okay? I have lifelong friends I grew up with that I still haven't had time to call back. I've got my children. Grown men have families, bro. Grown men have a partner that they have kids with, bro. Grown men have children, bro. Okay, the second I finish this video, what am I doing? I'm going to see my motherfucking kids. Vincent Cook, Dylan Cook, and Tristan Cook. Is your name Vincent, Dylan, or Tristan Cook? If it's not, then let me get back to them, or bring something of value, bring something to picnic other than your motherfucking appetite, and then I can add more value to my kids. Wouldn't it have been nice if your dad had thought like that and what your life could have looked like? You could have been out here running around in Houston instead of whatever your life looked like, right? I know it's just Houston, but you see my point, okay? So that is what a lot of the time these people just don't get. And so I remember my chiropractor buddy, we were at a party, and I have probably put in about $10,000 in personal cash, but like 100 hours in meeting all the women to invite to that party. But he wants to burn an hour of the party complaining that someone talked to his, quote, girl. I'm like, bro, it's 100, this is not an hour of my time. This is 100 hours of my time to build this list of women that I invited, $1,000 of my money. Could you just let me go back and talk to the people that I came here to talk to? But he doesn't want to let me. Eventually, I never let him come to a party again. And eventually, I just stopped having him come on training. We never talked again. In his mind, he's like, man, Owen's superficial. Owen's an asshole. I thought we had a connection, right? But here's what I would say is, first of all, bro, do you have a connection with anyone that they're not adding anything to you, but you're just adding to them? And you just let them come do that and then complain? No, you don't, right? By coincidence, you want the connection with someone that's bringing value to you, right? It's like how, like, some random, like, incel type guy thinks he has a connection with a supermodel. Like, I have a connection with her. Well, why don't you have a connection with somebody at your level? Oh, I just don't feel that connection. I only feel it with, Madison Beer or some, like, famous girl or something, right? So the whole thing's completely fucking delusional and narcissistic. It's manifestation, delusional, connection-based, right? This whole connection thing, it's always people that want to take that use connection or manifestation. But at the same time, here was the other thing that I didn't see. When someone is already broke and smokes a lot of weed, and that guy, the chiropractor guy, smoked a lot of weed, what does that say about him? He doesn't value his own time. And if he doesn't value his own time, then how can he value my time, right? If he doesn't value his own time, then how can he value my time? And fundamentally, you've got to understand that these are dynamics that exist. And funny enough, the dynamics can even flip. Because what is the basis of these dynamics? Look, the basis of these dynamics is that one person chooses to focus more, discipline themselves more, build more, so they have more to offer. And the other person has less. And whoever is at that point where they have less has to take that in consideration and work within the framework of the person who offers more. So for example, I mentioned Ty Lopez in this, right? Friend of mine. Ty Lopez, who's amazing. I think he's the premier business teacher on YouTube. Ty, when I first met him, was not on YouTube. So if I was doing a seminar, I would see Ty, and I could just tell that Ty had potential, so I was always pushing him to YouTube. And I just knew he was going to blow up. But Ty would have blown up, without me pushing him or not. But I'd see that. So if I was running a seminar, Ty would come to me, and he'd be a guest at my seminars. Ty would come to my apartment. Later, as Ty blew up way past me, and then now Ty's doing parties with the Golden State Warriors at his house, well, now all of a sudden, I will tend to go see Ty. So, you'll see, like, I could even put I had a little Instagram reel I posted. He liked the Instagram reel. He had fun creating with me. And, he's at his giant party at his house. He's at a $100 million estate at his home, having a party. Everyone's like, kissing the proverbial Ty Lopez ring. Well, I'm not just going to walk in front of that group of people and go, Ty, we have a connection, Ty. I demand all your personal attention. No, I'll be within his framework, kind of chill, and we're making a little video, and you'll see Ty. He's like, oh, Owen, what's up, bro? And then he even gave me props, said, oh, you helped me get started back in the day. So you see that I'm sitting there, and I'm just chilling and allowing Ty to do his thing. I'm happy to be there. I'm not demanding his attention or personal connection. I'm just there. And then Ty's blown up his brand, and he blessed me with a little endorsement. Wasn't that cool of him to do that? So sometimes it switches, right? Back in the day, he would more come to my crib, come to my seminars. But while I'm kind of just going around in nature, and while I'm having fun in my dating life, and while I'm doing a ton of parties, Ty was a little bit more focused than me. And he wound up outbuilding me. So because the dynamic flipped, now I go more on his schedule. So what do? I say to myself, how can I add value? Can I bring girls to the party? Can I help introduce him to people? How can I add to what he is doing? I'm always available whenever he would have any questions about anything. I'm there. If he says, oh, we're going to spa, go, come out right now. I drop what I'm doing. I go see Ty. Why? Because Ty has outbuilt me, and I'm not a delusional narcissist who claims that I'm manifesting Ty Lopez and have a connection with Ty Lopez. And instead what I'm saying is, I respect his hustle. I respect his time. He's put more time and focus into building this whole thing. So as a result, I will work with him on what it is that he's doing on his schedule. And I find a way to add value. And if nothing that I was doing was working, you want to know the next thing I would do? I would whip out the fucking credit card, and I would swipe it, and I'd happily pay to learn what that guy has taught me any day of the week, and I'd pay well into 6-7 figures to learn from Ty. Because I got to tell you something. Okay, we talk about, oh, well, why do you want to know higher level people? I can directly attribute several $1 million. I wouldn't be surprised if I could say 20, 30, 40, $50 million in revenues in my business. I didn't keep that, did not keep that. That's just money through the pipes, not the same thing. But I could directly attribute that to things that I learned from Ty. Many things that I've even put in these videos, I was able to absorb from Ty. So you think I'm not going to help the guy out where I can? When I'm hanging out with the guy, I'm not thinking, how do I take from him? I'm thinking, how do I add to him? And that is not because I don't think that I'm worthwhile as a person. Like, my just general presence brings value. It's not because of that. It is out of respect for the fact that if I have built something, and I see how hard that was, I see that he's built something, I see how hard that is, and I work within his framework. And then, you know, sometimes we kick it at spa, we chat as homies, and that's cool, but I'm there on his schedule. He used to be there on mine. And that's what I'm saying is it comes down to self-respect. So back in the day, for example, you know, when I was younger, I would have been the person just trying to get the photo or just trying to get the free value, and I didn't get it. But then as a result, I'd always be shunned out of the circle. Or likewise, if someone wanted to take value from me, I would just allow it. You know, I remember recently I was in Seattle, and the whole reason I do free events, I want to shoot a video with the crowd. And this guy's like, well, I just want to sit here, but I don't want to be in the crowd. It's like, bro, it's the back of your head. No one can see you at all. Well, no, I don't want to be in the video. And I said, homie, you got to go. He was shocked by that. He's like, you're making me go? I thought you were here to help me. Bro, I'm here to help you, but I have self-respect. You know damn well that if I'm paying 30, 40 grand to put on this event here in Seattle, that I'm doing it to get videos with a crowd. If you're gonna sit here and just consume the seminar, but you can't even be like, the back of your stupid ass head can't even be in the video, you gotta go. I look like a bit of an asshole, sure, but you know what? It was back in the day that I was more of a pushover codependent. I would have allowed that. It fucked with me at a core level, fucked with my self-esteem. I can remember back in the day, I'd have like someone be in the front row blocking the shot, and I'd be too embarrassed to even ask them to move. And that video would do 400,000 views, and you couldn't even see me properly in the video. So that one narcissistic guy could take up the space how he wants, and I wouldn't draw a boundary. So someone comes in a room and they're not looking to add value, I have a boundary now. Likewise, if I go into a room where I can see that I don't add value, I proactively add value to it. And by simply understanding all of this, simply having an understanding, I respect you. I have respect for you and your effort. I have respect for myself and my effort. I love you and I love your effort, and I love myself and my effort. And you know what? If you're coming from a place where you're not as accomplished as me, I love you too. And I'm gonna build systems where I can turn a dud into a stud, and I'm gonna give you the chance to interact. That is called real love, that is called real respect, and that is called actual authentic friendship, because it's not some bullshit where somebody's getting fucking bled out, but actually both people are winning, both people are expanding, both people are prospering. It is synergistic, taps into the potential of human relationships, and fundamentally, it is win-win. So, that being the case, second video that I shot out here in Texas, building upon the last one that I shot in Austin with my buddies. I promise you I'd have a great expansion on it. I hope that you enjoyed it. And now what I'm gonna do is go spend a little bit of unstructured time with my kids. And we're gonna go check out the wall, and we're gonna go check out a little bit more of Houston, and we're gonna eat at Bella Green's, one of my favorite places. And then we're gonna shoot over to New Orleans. We're gonna be in the French Quarter. We'll shoot some videos there too. And that is about beautiful quality time with the people that you love, which you're able to build and provide those experiences because you respect people and you respect yourself. Love you very much. Hope this helped. Excited to meet you in person and for us to be synergistic together. This simple understanding, if someone would have explained it to me back in the day, would have changed my life. I could have networked with higher status people, and I also could have allowed other people to add to what I'm doing, and I could have added to them. Hope it helps a lot. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace.